All right, true believers, we're back. It's your friendly neighborhood card game reviewers here, coming at
reviewers.
You. Yeah, reviewers.
Opinion makers.
Opinion makers, yes. We don't review anything. We just make opinions and you agree with them. No, that rarely happens. We make opinions and we engage in discussions afterwards in the comments below. If you have just found us here because of our two monstrous episodes, the last two, they're doing really well, gaining popularity every day. Please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it, and that's all you have to do to hang out.
That's it.
Today
easy. Super easy.
Easy breezy, beautiful.
Please stop. All right, keep it going.
Keep it going. Encore. Today we're going to talk about Ant-Man, given our impressions, given our look at what has come out, and some cool little things that FFG and the design team have packed into this Ant-Man clamshell case for you to crack open and experience. Corey, let's just say fans of Ant-Man overall before we dive into this.
He's definitely on my list of like really excited to try and get some games in with. Initial idea, as people who've listened before know, I'm a big fan of She-Hulk, and I like the playstyle I like identities that want to keep flipping back and forth between alter ego and hero form. And Ant-Man looks like right up that alley of like that style of play of like constantly shifting forms as you're playing the game. So yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I don't think Ant-Man was in anybody's face. He's not like a one of the the big kind of names that come out. But what drew to him was the addition of him in the movies and how wonderfully they were portrayed. I love both of the Ant-Man movies. I love his character. Obviously got some toys for the kids, pumped them up, and I'm missing my Ant-Man action figure. I should have been more prepped. But
I know, man. It's okay though. It's the Paul Rudd effect, though.
Yes,
like, right. It's hard to not like Paul Rudd.
What he brought to that character. Again, genius casting, right? Like everyone, I think when he was announced, you're sitting there scratching your head, going like, But you got to trust the system because they haven't been too wrong yet, and he hit it out the park. Like great, just put it on. The chemistry, the jokes, I loved it. So definitely a fan of Ant-Man, and let's see how he was portrayed inside this this character pack here. So the first thing we're gonna look at is Scott Lang himself. He's only got 3 recovery. Could hurt him, but he's got the time to unwind. Classic Scott. This is a response after you've changed to this form. Heal 1 damage from Scott Lang. Well, that's pretty dandy. So
yeah,
pretty good. No need to recover.
Sometimes you just need that little bit to get you over the edge. Or you need to go to your alter ego to maybe like play a card, right? To play like a good support character. So getting like that nice little extra benefit from flipping back is pretty neat.
Oh, I think I think this is one of the better alter ego ones we've seen, right? Just being able to double up like that, like you said, like flip back, gain a boost like that, and then still be able to do what you want to do without pulling off a tap.
Yeah.
His hand size is 6, and he's got hit points of 12. So I mean,
it's pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty run of the mill, as the kids would say, right?
Those kids. Yeah, but no, I mean, initially, and it's interesting. He has civilian as a keyword, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I like that ability. I just like those. I like those generally useful like utility abilities, like. You'll go to it. Typically, when you go to flip back to your alter ego, you will have damage of some sort. So you're always going to be gaining a benefit from this flip. So and then effectively it makes recovery 4 if you flip, do some other stuff, and then recover with them. So it seems great.
Yeah, I mean, again, right? Like, it's not bogging you down. It's still being able to, to drop some stuff. I mean, obviously you have to be in hero form, and to get this, because after you've changed to this form, you get the bonus. But I mean, this captures everything that is Scott Lang. The kind of everyday guy. I really wonder if they'll be able to do anything with Civilian down the long road, or if that's just kind of like capped him off because of his, so he doesn't get too powerful, like playing the design game, playing the strength curve there. So yeah, we'll see. Any other thoughts on this as a base?
No, I mean, it seems pretty good so far. So far we're in thumbs up territory.
Yeah, and I mean, Thomas joined in, said that he's looking forward to playing him, and I think this is one of the ones that I've been looking forward to kind of the most as well. Ant-Man kind of caught my eye, and especially the mechanics that we'll get into. I'm really digging this.
Oh, I'm sure I know which ones you're going to be really hyped about, but we'll get there eventually. We're on the way.
All right, so the Ant-Man Avenger Tiny form is the next one that we're kind of getting into here. This is 2 to thwart, 1 to attack, and 2 to defense. All kind of, again, right down the middle kind of stats, nothing too crazy. The attack was a little weird because even as as a small ant, he's supposed to keep that super strength, right? So you see him shrink down in the movies and give people the punches, and they're still supposed to carry that level of power. So kind of a little disappointed, but hey, it's a game. It is what it is.
But balance.
Yeah, the puny balance. What is that? The puny pest response after you change to this form, remove 1 threat from a scheme.
That's good. That's a good ability. I mean, I can tell you as a She-Hulk player, denying a threat getting added is solid. Removing a threat from the scheme, always a useful ability.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting from the perspective of, that it's in the past, we've seen a play style where you can pretty much predominantly camp out in hero form. And this hero seems to be already showing that you have to keep pushing, right? Like change, and you're not going to be so stagnant with him. So again, that's part of the mechanic that I'm really looking forward to is the constant change in state.
Yep. So
to speak of that, this is Ant-Man Giant.
Oh, hold on, before you jump ahead, it's also important to note that his hit points obviously the same, but his hand size goes to 5 in tiny.
Oh.
So his hand size drops by 1 in tiny form.
Yep.
And he has the Avenger trait and the tiny trait, just to let you know. But if you aware, so follow his hand size. 6, 5. Okay. Yeah. Continue.
And in hand size of 4 in giant form. So we're looking at a thwart of 1, attack of 3, defense of 3. So now we're getting up there, right, with the attack spot. After you change to this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy.
Giant nuisance.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, right? I mean,
yeah. That's great.
Right, so basically,
free damage.
Yeah, basically.
How many times have you been like bothered by like you've left like 1 hit point on somebody? Yeah, or there's like something that has like guard that you really need to remove, and or someone needs like I can do 2 on this guy, and you just can lend that 1 extra damage. So again, it's not like oh my god the most amazing ability ever, but it's typically will always be useful.
Oh, for sure. Right, like so you have you have thwart, you have the attack, and you have the recovery all covered when you change form. So very very cool to keep cycling through those figures and stuff.
So Ant-Man has 3 forms.
Yes,
he has alter ego, tiny, and large.
Well, so let's watch this little infographic here. This is over on the Fantasy Flight page. You can see the link here. boom, you can see the fold out card. This mechanic was what's the word? I don't want to use.
So it was this design was pioneered in the Transformers TCG.
You say it so elegantly. I
on my good days. So, as someone who actually played that for a little bit when it first released, it was fun. It was a cool little game. But that was the coolest aspect about that game, though, were the giant like robots, and when they released like the morphers, and they would shift and change. They even had ones that would fold out, and you would arrange all the cards together to form like the Mega Morph thing or whatever,
like the
like the Constructicons, yeah,
make Devastator and stuff like that.
So it was really cool. So I'm excited to see like this really neat design mechanic that game utilized brought into a different game, because unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever, the Transformers game is ending. Unfortunately, with COVID and other events and things like that, WotC trimmed it because they were not only able to really like support the game, but some of those cool ideas and the neat like design elements they had coming into this game, I'm excited for. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's strange too, because it's still a little bit of old friend of the show Lucas, who went over from Fantasy Flight to work on that game, right? So shout out there for the creative minds. But yeah, so Corey, what's your thoughts on this? I mean, this came with very, very
polarizing opinions.
Yeah, again, awesome with the words.
Yeah. So me, I'm not worried about it. I can tell you, the cards hold up incredibly well. If they use anything like the similar card stock that like Wizards use, and Wizards is always known for using the most like high end stuff on their products, the cards will be fine. They'll hold up. They'll look great. And you're gonna feel so cool when you flip and then unfold to Giant Ant-Man. Also, companies like BCW, to give an example, already made a bunch of product around the Transformers card game. So finding things you can sleeve and store these cards, there's companies that already have resources available that size to fit this. So some of these like things people are like freaking out over, it's going to be okay. You're going to have a good time playing with this giant card, and it's going to feel so awesome. Just enjoy it. Just have fun with it and enjoy it. So every now and then you get to have those silly toys that you just want to play with. When you flip that giant card, it's going to look so awesome. Just have a good time.
Or just sleeve it regular and never flip into giant Ant-Man form.
There you go. Yeah, just take out 1/3 of the uniqueness that makes the character so cool.
You still have over 50%, man.
Okay, sure, it checks out.
The math holds. Numbers don't lie. But yeah, I mean, my personal opinion on it is I think it's honestly probably nothing to worry about. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't even know, this is, heaven forbid, cover your ears, kids. But I'm probably not even going to sleeve this. I know, right? I just don't think it's going to be necessary, right? Like, I trust them, right? Like,
just kidding.
No, I don't think it's necessary, man. I really don't, because I trust them when they say that they're going to put quality behind it, and I trust, and it was the same with Destiny. Right? Like, everyone was worried about the laser dice and stuff like that, how they were doing the printing. And they're like, listen, it's fine. We've checked it out. We've run a whole bunch of tests on it. Trust us. Blah. These dice have longevity. And they worked out, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it's going to depend, like, if they use the same type of card stock, like the thickness and stuff on it, you don't necessarily need to sleeve them, because it's going to be sturdy and the card's going to hold up really well. Mm-hmm. Also, if you're going to be switching back and forth all the time, because you do have to unfold the card, you're probably going to have to unsleeve it to play with it, and then just sleeve it back whenever you store it and everything like that. Yes. So there's a bunch of options and stuff for you, but
don't fret, my friends.
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
Yeah. Cool. So this is let us know what you guys feel like in the comments below. Let that discussion rage on. To sleeve or not to sleeve in a whole different way.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, so aside from already the pretty neat stuff we've got going on with the hero itself, we also got some really cool, cards in his 15 spoiled. So Jameson, what's the first one we're going to show?
Yeah, the next one is Resize. This is a zero-cost event. You can see this is 6 of 15, so we really jump here from a spoiler perspective. Change to your other form, draw a card.
Change to your other hero form.
Sorry, yes.
So it's important to note that you can't flip to alter ego with this. You only go from tiny to giant or giant to tiny.
Me read well.
Yeah, but you draw a card. It replaces itself. Value Town.
Yeah. So I think from this perspective, I think again it's really, really cool. Especially it plays right into his playstyle to keep changing forms. Usually you can only do that pretty much once a turn, but now here we have a card that's coming out that is allowing you to break the rules like that, right? Pym Particles, man.
Oh, hold on, I got something to say on this.
No, sorry, I meant like that's how
oh, God.
I don't
spoiler.
I don't
Anyway.
mean the card. I mean you're actually he's using the Pyms.
No, I'm super pumped. So I immediately am excited by a card that lets you break the one flip rule. Again, like She-Hulk has like one card that lets you break that rule, and it's not the easiest to line up because it's very expensive.
That is true.
And it's like a big power turn type thing. This is to get an extra, flip effectively, to change hero forms. And we were already seeing that he gets triggers just by changing the forms anyway. So you're looking at, for a free card that replaces itself, you're getting to deal damage and remove a threat. That's great value effectively for a zero cost card.
Yep.
And you can even adapt, right? So you could like thwart with tiny, resize to go to giant, and have the giant to defend going into, like, there's just so many things to think about that Resize opens up. And I'm going to assume this is probably like a multiple copy card in this kit. I can't imagine they would just give you one. I think that,
who knows, man. This is pretty powerful.
I think you're going to at least get 2. You might even get 3, but I think 2 is probably what you're going to sit at in this kit.
For really what you're expecting here is, you're getting incredible value out of, to be able to do all of that, right? Like in a turn, so that'd be crazy if there was 2 copies of it, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think it'd be fine.
It's awesome.
I think it really helps to build on the theme, because none of those abilities are like over the top, but it's like a nice balance of like going through, and it helps you like go through your deck and stuff pretty quick. So right. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah,
I'm already like really digging what's going on here.
Oh, more than a fan. That's the staple card right there. All right, moving on into a resource. This is Pym Particles. This is a wild resource card. Hero Response. After you spend this card, heal 2 damage from your hero if you are in giant form, or draw 1 card if you are in tiny hero form.
I love this. And this, I think, is a mechanic that I think you're also super hyped for, because being able to getting triggers off spending resources is such a cool ability to have. I think this is like super awesome. You get a wild that you can use to pay for stuff, and then it just has its own free trigger, like wild with benefits, that's firing off based on like where you are in your hero form.
I'm just so happy to see the traits come into play, in words like that, like it playing, like having one single card have multiple uses is a mechanic that I love in not just not just in card games like per se here, but like board games in general, right? So it's forcing you as a player to make harder choices, right? And decisions in a game, especially a cooperative game and a game that depends on the board states and stuff like that, is so cool.
Yeah, like that's the game, right? It's making all these decisions with the information you have in front of you. I love this card. I really love this mechanic. I'm excited to see something like this. You know, they grow and build on like things that trigger the like resources you spend that do other things based on traits and stuff that's in play. I'm a huge fan of this mechanic.
Yeah,
like I love it.
We move into an upgrade, as standard with most the heroes out there that wear suits. We have a helmet. This is like auto includes in some of these now.
Right.
Like, come on, guys, the helmet card again.
Hey man, it's a cool helmet, all right?
Yeah,
it's got an antenna on it.
I mean, that's his signature stuff. All right. It's a 3-cost science.
And it's tech.
It's tech.
It's important. It's important for all you Stark Tower users out there.
Armor and tech.
So if you're playing with an Iron Man, buddy, he can help you out.
After you change to giant form. Oh, sorry, it's also a response. After you change to giant form, heal 2 damage from your hero. That's huge.
Literally.
Hero response after you change to tiny form, draw a card. Like I feel like what we're looking at here is like I don't know, this he might be either there might be something we're not seeing, or his card set is just incredibly overpowered.
It seems so good. Like, now granted, you do need these cards in play, right? So I'm wondering if he might have an issue. It's not nearly as impacted as like the Iron Man situation, but it looks like he does want these cards to come up in like a certain order to get the benefit. Like, if you don't have the helmet, there's so much value you're leaving on the table, right? Because you're doing all these changes and you're not getting all these cool like add-ons. But when you get this out, you're getting so much free value for like shifting forms and everything that it's insane.
This is one you probably want to aggressively mulligan for.
Yeah. I agree. It's one that you get out. You're getting, I mean, free card draw and then healing while in hero form.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, 100%, man, right? Like if you don't have to flip back into a alter ego to recover, or use that other ability, just flipping here, having this on the table and getting it out. I mean, I don't know, Corey, man. Like, I look at this card and I wonder if it's even costed right. Like, we're not seeing the rest of the suite, but honestly, my impressions is this card is so
good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
No, but I mean, it could be broken.
I mean, think about this turn, right? So you've got like a resize, and you have this in play. So you're like, I'm gonna flip the tiny form, remove a part from the scheme, draw a card. I'm gonna resize in the giant form, heal 2 damage, deal a damage, and then I have like you just got so much value, and all you did was just play a card that replaced itself and shifted hero form twice.
It's one of the best helmets in the game.
We've seen a lot of helmets.
We've seen our share of helmets. And this is probably the best helmet in the game, man. This, like I said, this is the impressions video, and my impression of this is extremely overpowered for what you want to do. I mean, we're seeing you want to be changing forms. We're seeing that, right? He's got multiple forms. You want to be playing a style that flips it. Now, this thing here is just, again, extremely rewarding you for playing the game.
And a card like this could be like your argument of where like resizes are like really limited. But there has to be, I feel like there's going to be something in the suite, because one thing we haven't really seen in the suite are like really good like combat cards. So maybe he's getting all this utility, but he's not like hitting you super hard. So that might be maybe where they balance it. He's not getting like these like crazy haymaker swings and things like that. Or if he does, it's really cost intensive to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where they try to balance this kid out a little bit. Like, you're getting so much utility, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we play it.
Maybes and ifs and buts and stuff like that. But impression tells me, man, from what we've seen,
impressions, this card's insane.
It's whack. Thomas just says too, Iron Man and Ant-Man should team up. He's like sees that as a great two hero combo there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, anytime Iron Man has someone else like in Stark Tower, they're immediately happy. Because once they've used it, they're like, I got Stark Tower available. Can anyone use it? I swear that comes around their table all the time because there's always like an Iron Man player. And they're always sad when they can't Stark Tower something. So there you go, man. You be that hero.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've got one more card that they showed off from the Ant-Man.
This is also an upgrade. This is the wrist gauntlets.
Also tech,
but not as cool as a name as like wrist gauntlets.
Yeah, it's true.
Item. So this is the last card. This is 15 of 15. A 1 cost upgrade. It's also mental or science. Hero action. If you are in giant hero form, exhaust the wrist gauntlets and spend 2 strength or resources and stun an enemy. If you're in tiny hero form, exhaust wrist gauntlets, spend 2 energy, and confuse an enemy.
Seems pretty solid. It's pretty resource intensive, but it's a good ability.
And then let me go to the queued up button, because what do we do with status cards? Doctor Strange, you know?
God. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Hit the button, Jamie. Hit the button.
Yeah.
Queue it up.
But yeah, I think this is an okay card. I mean, it's cheap. It's cheap to get down. It's 1 cost because you have to funnel so many resources into doing the ability. Again, the trade is you're not doing damage, but you're stunning or confusing. So you're buying time as long as you've got the resources in your hand to burn into it. Now, granted, with all those card draw triggers and things like that, you can probably find them relatively easily. But that's what you're spending your turn on, right? Is you're burning all these resources to confuse or stun. And you need like your teammates to really like weigh in to actually progress the scenario.
Yep. Sorry to people watching the live show. Everything just closed out there. All my web browsers and stuff minimized. But we're back. It's back. Keep going, Corey. Keep talking. Just saying sorry.
Yeah.
It's live, guys. Unedited. Raw.
But yeah. So yeah, I think this is a good card. I don't think it's like nuts. I think the cost is appropriate to the effect.
I mean, to me, it's so situational.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, it's
right.
It's there, but
I think you need a card like this because I mean, also, how do you follow that helmet, right? We just like went nuts over the helmet, and then like this was the next act. The wrist gauntlets is like, I'm sorry, man, this is all I got. I can't compete with the helmet.
Yeah, but I mean, to an extent. I mean, we'll have to see what his builds are going to be like and the rest. I mean, to me, it makes sense to have a lot of science resources here if you're playing a thematic thing. So maybe really hard, you may have to use your aspects to kind of flush this stuff out and decide which way you want to go. So there's your deck building. But we have seen in the past how powerful stun can be. So there could be something there, but I'm lukewarm here.
Yeah, I think it's I think you're right on the money that it's very situational. So it's like you get it. It can come in handy time, but it's resource costed, and as we've seen too from a lot of the cards, a lot of things are suited to science. So there is like the wild of the Pym Particles, but the only card we've seen so far that has strength on it is Resize. I don't think you want to spend your Resizes to pay for wrist gauntlets. I think you want to use Resize for its ability. So that's a hard sell to me. So it is probably like a deck building thing to really kind of build around if you want to be able to trigger it. And if there's only like 1 copy of wrist gauntlets,
let it go. Use it as a resource, man.
Right. I mean, this could be a double. Like this could be a double thing. Like
no, don't give me 2 wrist gauntlets.
Hey man, that could be it. Like they want to try to make sure you get a copy of wrist gauntlets. But that could be. I could easily see like Ant-Man again having more of the like effect dancing around type play style, while someone else needs to like really be dealing the damage or something like that. So
yeah, I could see that as well. I mean, if we're tying it in with thematic, he's kind of like the whole, look at me over here, distract, like you're saying, stun, confuse. What happened? He was small, he's big, he's growing. Blah.
Right.
I got hit with a giant salt shaker. If giant salt shaker is a card, that would be awesome. But
yeah. So I mean, I can definitely see that. Now, granted, it looks like there's probably. I'm intrigued to see how viable, like, how many variety of playstyles he has. Because if you can even build a deck focused on like one of his forms, it's like you want to go really heavy to like mainstaying in giant form a lot of the time, and that's where you're going to be like you're going to deal your damage, or you can play like a very like thwarty, scheme removal tiny form. Like it's just interesting. How your deck building is going to be to like balance how he's going to be shifting forms all the time.
Yeah, and so to get into some other kind of deck building talk here, I'm really scratching my head as we get into what they've paired him with, the leadership aspect for the whole out of the box kind of experience. Super weird. Right?
Yeah.
Like Ant-Man has always been that supportive hero, and that's just basically what we're saying here from the start, or the whole, or from like your little speech there about his play style. But to me, I don't look at him as like a dominant hero or a solo hero off the bat. From what we've seen, I don't know if he's solo-ish. Right, so
but maybe that deck choice maybe reinforces the idea that I'm thinking that he needs other things, and so maybe they paired leadership so you can get like some fighty allies. You can kind of balance them out, because you might be more like a jack of all trades, master of none type style. And so the allies help to fill in the gaps and paste what's needed as you play through the scenario. If you played as a solo deck,
maybe you're right there.
I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't be a fan of playing him leadership. If you have a regular group you play with,
yeah, maybe
solo leadership's always a good build. So that could maybe be the
support really comes to mind, for me. But interesting, right? Like, look at this. We've got a leadership card right here with him, and the ally. We haven't seen his signature ally yet, but we're looking at the original Ant-Man. This is Hank Pym. This is legal to play. Because of the rules, right? Corey?
Because of the rules. Yeah, because it's a different, it's the same hero name, but it's a different, like, alter ego or identity, so they don't match up 100%. So by the rules reference, which you can find on page 18 of the rules reference document, two different identities share the same title, but each has a different alter ego. They may coexist in play.
Yeah. And then his effect will only affect him, or it'll affect both Ant-Mans. Who knows, right?
I think it's just going to be on. I think it's just going to be on him.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway,
I like to just stretch it out and be that rules guy. Ant-Man gets +1 hit point for each Pym counter on him. As an interrupt, when Ant-Man enters play, place 1 Pym counter on him to a maximum of 4 for each resource you overpaid. So this is a mechanic that we're going to see coming kind of into this next cycle about overpaying for cards, and what you overpay to a maximum will then give you some kind of said bonus. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, value-wise, like, I know we've raved at him before how we love the 2/2 stat line. And so getting potentially a 4 hit point 2/2 stat line, real good.
Yeah, with only a with a 1 hit use, it's not like a double hit, right? So you're not forced to kind of stretch him out there. I really think it would have been interesting if it had more of a base cost. Because then to me, when it's like you're overpay for him, you're not really.
Yeah, you're just paying for him. You're just paying for how many counters you want to put on him. And granted, you've got like discount things and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, right now he's just super good. He just seems like he's going to slot into like every leadership deck. It's because his value is like right where you want to be.
What if
you can adjust based on how you need him to cost and just pop right in?
You can't even get a turn out of him, right? Like, has there anything officially come out about Hank Pym yet? If you do not pay at least one resource, he's not sticking.
Correct. Yeah, because he would come into play with no hit points and go right to the
gone. But right away, like I know that's the way it is, right? Get to 0 and stuff like that. But there's no like Nick Fury-ish thing. Like, he's not gonna like. If we get to the nitty gritty and the order of that things happen, is there somebody out there that's rules wizarding this down, or is going to challenge?
I think it would only matter if you had like a character that triggered on like when an ally comes into play. That effect should still trigger, because Ant-Man would still come into play, and then the board state would see he has no hit points, go to the discard. Okay, so like coming into play triggers should still happen.
What if I lower his cost to play?
Yeah.
Right? And then I put him in for 0. Does that mean I've overpaid by 1?
I think that interaction works. I'm not 100% on this.
It will probably get cleaned up.
But I think if you reduce this cost, you could then say like I'm paying 1 resource, but you don't have to actually discard anything to do it.
Because you're negative, right? You're not. There's probably something in there that you can't pay negative for a card or something like that.
Right. Well, I think some of the reducers. God, I can't remember right off the top of my head. But don't some of them have like a minimum? Like there's a minimum they can reduce some stuff to. I don't know. If it's worded like that, I didn't look that up, so I'll have to go through and find out how it does. But there could be a chance we can get really cheap. I mean, already his value is great. Like, even if you pay 1, you get a 2/2 swing, which is a solid stat line you want for an ally. He's a perfect make the call target, I think, because you can pay for him on the trigger when he comes in. Yeah, because it's interrupt when he comes into play.
Yep.
So you can make the call him for free, bring him in, and then pay and put counters on him. I like it.
It's cool.
And we just called this out because it was like one of the most standout cards of his leadership package, out of the ones that they spoiled. Most of the others are just kind of like generic flair.
Yeah.
But that one like really checked out. This how it's interesting interactions and stuff it had.
I think it's definitely going to be the one that's carried outside of the thematic of them. Thanks for the people that are throwing likes up there. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like let's we got a couple cards left here, so. The Ant-Man ally is definitely the standout kind of leadership card we've seen. We'll call another one out at the end here, but I mean you've already seen it. But reinforced suit attached to an ally, max 1 per ally. That's pretty cool. All right, attached ally gets +2 hit points. That's great. It's great. Great for 1 cost if you're playing an ally build. Some of these allies, kind of swing their stats. Make them stick around a little bit longer, right? It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's good for the pre-con. I worry in constructed if it can find a spot. I feel like leadership decks already have so many good tools that could be a congested spot to find. But it's not a bad card. I think it's priced okay.
Yep.
So
armor and tech also, right? So it's cool.
Oh, there you go, man. That's more tech. It's tech out.
Another ally, Giant Man, Avenger, and he's got the giant trait. Giant Man gets +2 attack while he has 3 or more remaining hit points. 2/2 for 5.
But he's 5.
Yeah.
Pass. Oh boy.
Pass.
I mean, if you think about it, if you have a bunch of reducers and you can like cheat them out for say like around 3.
Build specific. That's all we have to say, right?
You do the 3. Like swinging for 4 is pretty solid, and you can get 2 swings in at 4. I mean, that seems good, but man, that's super expensive.
Yep. No. I mean, definitely there, but you're gonna have to pay it, and you're gonna have to put some work into making it work.
Yeah, agreed.
Here's a cool one. Stinger. 1/1, 1 cost, 1/1 for 2. Play only if your identity has the Avenger trait. Stinger does not count against your ally limit. That's cool. I mean,
that's great.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, it's all stats, kind of just a nice little card that's something different, right? Mm-hmm. I have nothing else to say against that, and that's why it's just like a little prick, just like a little sting. Hey,
yeah. I mean, it's also a great blocker, right? Mm-hmm. You just pretty much throw in this practically free, this ally to block.
Yep.
Doesn't mess up your ally limit, so it's good.
No.
Solid.
Hey, yeah. Sorry, but you're taking this one for the team, Stinger. But that's cool though. Again, it's cool that these cards are very thematic to Ant-Man himself, right? So these are the leadership ones that are in Ant-Man that are very thematic. This is actually his daughter right here. So she plays the Stinger. This one here people have seen before. It's kind of got it's kind of got some buzz. Mostly it's an auto include just for the sake of that's Miles Morales that's on there, and I mean every deck should have at least a Miles Morales, I think. I know. It's
a stamp of approval, seal of approval.
Seal of approval.
But yeah, that's a team building exercise. It's the neutral. It was spoiled during the Gen Con stream, I believe, is where it initially came out through. Yeah, you can go through the details of it.
To put it in play, it's a strength resource there. Hero action. So you got to be in hero form. Exhaust team building exercise. Play a card from your hand that shares a trait with your hero, reducing its resource cost by 1. I think that people can really thank Bad Publicity for really drilling home this use of traits, and we're starting to see it come through.
We've been harping on it since Netrunner days.
Oh yeah,
so
we should definitely have some credit callouts for for this in the design space. There's no way. I know that they say, well, we don't get involved, and we don't. We can't listen to the people because we gotta just keep our heads down and design cards. But there's no way how much we yelled for the use of traits, and now we're finally seeing it come true. And that's why I think this Ant-Man pack is going to be a cool pack.
Yeah, and this card's great. It's one thing I'm a big fan of is it's one of the cheapest reducers. Because normally, like your helipad or your helicarrier is like another 3, and the mansion's at a 4. So to get a reducer that comes down to 2 that has the matchup traits on your taker, and it's a neutral, there's a lot of really cool builds and decks I think this can play around in to get some good use out of it.
Yeah, but that again, right? It's taken the game up a little bit because cards like this play to more of the person that wants to, be a deck crafter.
Yeah, and they want a theme. They want a theme really heavy in their builds.
Cook something up in the lab, and you're gonna start looking at how each card interacts with it, right? So that's really cool. So that is kind of where we sit overall with this Ant-Man pack. I'm really excited. This is one of the first ones in a long time. 2 thumbs up from me.
Yeah.
Instant buy. Definitely I will be the first person in my group playing as Ant-Man. I've already called it, stamped it.
You dibs.
Yeah.
You dibs the Ant-Man when the pack comes out. That's great.
Yeah.
It's good.
So it's going to be cool. And you know what? I think it's the mechanic and the things I've seen. If you had to ask me before from a thematic perspective, was I excited? No, I wasn't. I was cool because my kids like Ant-Man, so I'm gonna pick it up anyway, and they just like to look at the card arts and stuff like that. But so I was forced, right? But and being a completionist and stuff like that, it is what it is. But it wasn't my high priority. Like I got to try it out. So I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing from an impressions standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. Also, man, giant card. I'm all in on the giant card. The gimmick. I loved it in Transformers. I'm gonna love it here. Yeah. So
let us know your impressions down below. What you guys think about Ant-Man, where he ranks in the in this cycle. Is he your favorite that you're looking forward to, or do you have another one that you're looking forward to? That we'll probably cover in a different episode.
Most likely. Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you very much for tuning in to Bad Publicity. This has been our impressions of Ant-Man. And remember that any publicity is good publicity, even if it's bad publicity. Is that a good outro?
We're going with it. So leave your comments below. All right. Thanks, guys.
See you later.